I know something I find interesting, and it's sad now. I really shouldn't joke like this. I shouldn't talk like this. You know, I've heard survivalists talk about how the government can't save you, and that we shouldn't put our lives in the hand of the government and all this kind of stuff. But yet, they've got a president that's doing everything he can to weaken our protections. I mean, we are really watching what happens when you have a car and you take all the safety provisions out of it, and then you have a wreck. This is what we're going into right now, and the whole world's watching. The whole world's caught up in it. You know, we don't have that sort of a global good, global respect. That's gone. That's long gone. You know, Trump out here disrespecting people and calling folks names and stuff. We don't have the respect we had with Obama. That's, like I said, that's gone. And, you know, I've said it before that it really seems as though, I don't know how to explain it to you. They don't really care about human life. You know, they don't have any thought about who will get hurt from this pandemic. You know, what gets me is I think a lot of his supporters are in the key groups that will get hurt. Not possibly will get hurt from this. Older people, smokers. You know, shit. Most of the people I know who smoke are white. I don't know too many black people that smoke. I drive trucks. I don't. I don't know too many black folks that vape. That's just not a lot of black people doing stuff like that. I know a lot of white folks that smoke and vape. A lot. That is a white person thing in the South. You know, I just think that they'll be the ones that get affected the worst. You know, it's weird that I'm not a police officer. I'm not an emergency services person. But doing them mail runs in California, you know, I like doing that. And I've spoke about how, you know, context. We're all born to die. Okay? We're born to die. It's just how we die and what we die for that makes our living and our dying worthwhile. I don't want to die. I don't want to go out here and get hurt or get injured or, you know, hurt anybody. I don't, certainly not. You know, I'm sure a lot of folks feel the same way. But I've spoken many times about how, you know, Charlotte and the South, there's nothing here worth dying for. And I'm not running around looking for something to die for, but it's just, I realize that whenever you do something, you have to add, that's one thing that's changed about me since I was younger, is that whenever I do something, and I'm talking about trucks, and I'm talking about life, I always think to myself, is this right or wrong? And I say that in the guise of, am I doing something right now I would be embarrassed to tell somebody about 2 years from now? And if the answer is yes, maybe I shouldn't be doing it. That's what I'm saying to you. So, you know, you everything you do, every moment, you know, you have to think to yourself, is this something that, you know what I mean? See, that's one thing about these police officers doing these shootings. Sometimes the shootings don't be unjust, but they escalate it. You can see it, they escalate it. They take something that's probably a citation and they want to buck up and get in the dude's face, and it turns into a deadly force or use of force incident. I've seen it. Same thing with my life. You know, I have to think about what is worth fighting for and what is not. That's what when I say about the South and nothing to die for, that's what I'm referring to. I'm getting older. I'm looking at things differently. I'm a lot more thoughtful in my actions. And to be honest, I had a careless driving speed ticket, all that in 2012. I ain't had a ticket in 5 years. I'm gonna have some inspections. Man, no real tickets, thank God. You know, knock on wood. And that's how I got that. That's how I got that. By when I do things, thinking to myself, wait a minute, is this just? Is this something that I would be embarrassed to talk about? Is this right or wrong? And if you got to think about it, don't do it. Don't do it. If you got to think about it, don't do it. Real talk. Don't. You know, it's not right. So, I think this country is really sick, man. I never knew America could be this sick or this nasty. People talking about being glad that hope everybody in California is dying and all the gay people dying and stuff. Hearing that stuff, it reminds me, this is not my home. The South is not my home. And things like that just, they make that clear in my mind. This is not my home. It is not my home. Don't be fooled. Yeah, don't be fooled. It's not your home. This is the place I live. A nice little apartment, a nice little car, and all that. Another thing I realized is that these are all things. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with living nice and doing well. These are all, like, if I had the chance to live in California, even if I wasn't doing as well as I am now, I'd rather live with a bunch of progressive, open-minded, free-thinking people than live with a bunch of white trash and a bunch of slave-minded niggas. A bunch of slaves. They think like slaves, they joke like slaves, they eat like slaves. Everything about them is slave-minded. Just so boring. It's so boring being around these kind of people, man. Anyway, I just have to say that I never knew this country could be as nasty as it is. But I'd rather be in California and be helping out people, be risking my life, than be living in North Carolina and be safe. I'm not safe. We're not safe. I'm just putting it out there that I would rather be in California to live and die in LA or whatever, to live and possibly die, than live here with a bunch of backwards ass people. I don't understand how folks down here think. I drove trucks 3 years, and I've got to say, like, I understand rednecks. I understand less of them now than I did. And like, I understand the key precepts that all they care about is guns and low taxes and being able to, you know, be as racist and homophobic, to the right to offend. I get it. I get all of that, okay? I get all of that. But I'm talking about the redneck philosophy and how the philosophy has changed, or they're killing their own kids. I don't get it. I may never get it. I don't understand how they think. And that's putting it kindly. I don't understand how you guys think at all. Not even sure I want to understand how they think. Peace.